Welcome to the Libra Love Lounge, the show where I read posts on Reddit and give them relationship advice. My name's Eliana Camargo, and let's jump into the first post. I, 34 male, am thinking about breaking up with my partner, 35 female, but worried about what will happen to her after. I, 34 male, have been with my partner, 35 female, for 12 years, and during this time, I've been the sole earner. She makes a few hundred each month doing bits and pieces, has never been interested in having a proper job. We have a house together, mortgaged now for 6 years. This is why I will never ever be financially dependent on a man. Because of a situation like this, if he wants to get out of the relationship with you, what are you gonna do? You're kind of screwed. I'm terribly unhappy and have been looking elsewhere, so to speak, which I know is a horribly shitty thing to be doing. That kind of sucks, but I mean, it's just a sign that something's wrong in your relationship. It's going downhill. I'm worried that if I leave, my partner won't have any meaningful income. How is she going to eat, pay bills? She doesn't have family she can rely on. I'd also feel terrible. Neither of us are totally unhappy, but both of us care about one another a lot. How do I tell my partner and minimize any hurt feelings? And would telling her that I'll move out but still pay the mortgage for the first year be thinking like a guy? And what? And that it isn't quite the I want to make things as easy for you in this as I think it is? What does that mean? Thinking like a guy? What? I kind of wish she'd wake up one day and tell me she's done with this relationship and has found someone else. I'd miss her terribly, but I wouldn't have that weight on my shoulder. I think it's super common when you want to break up with someone, part of you wishes that they would do the dirty work of breaking up. But in this case, she probably feels more stuck than you do because she's financially reliant on you. I don't think she has any desire to leave at this point, especially because she doesn't want a proper job. She's not looking or anything. Comments and advice don't have to be softly given. I'm capable of and want to see the wood for the trees, especially as I know how much of a bubble I'm in right now. Well, with that being said, I'm not the tough love kind of person, so I will still give soft advice. But first, don't ever get into a situation like this ever again. Some people, if you want to financially take care of a woman or you want to be financially taken care of by a man or any gender, it could go either way or mixing genders. The genders don't matter. If you want to be financially dependent on someone or have someone financially dependent on you, then more power to you. But I could never, ever do it. I've been in situations where I haven't been totally financially dependent, but I relied on having their income in order to afford rent in 2 previous relationships. And my own mother was in a very similar situation. And after her divorce, it was very difficult. But people are married all the time to stay-at-home moms or homemakers, and they end up getting a divorce, and everything is fine. It's hard in the beginning, but it'll force her ass to go get a job. So my first question is, have you brought up the fact that you feel like the relationship is going downhill, or has that been kind of suppressed and everybody thinks it's all status quo other than like the vibes in the air? You say that neither of us are totally happy. Is that just like the vibe, or have you discussed it? Because I know in my previous relationships, breaking up was never a surprise. Like, we had many conversations about what issues and what feelings I had been having up until that point, and so that I gave the relationship a fair shot and we could work through things. So that's the first thing. You're jumping to breaking up, which could totally be the viable option, but have you discussed this first so that it doesn't come as a surprise to her? But if you have, or you've already decided like, no, this is it, we need to break up. You said you're willing to move out but still pay the mortgage for the first year, which I think is incredibly generous. And if you want to do that, I would shorten it to like 3 to 6 months, because for the first few months of that year, she's just gonna be chilling, living on her own, and she's gonna be too depressed to look for a job and all of that. If you shorten the time frame, it might light the fire under her ass to go find a job. So I think it would be really nice, since you're already willing to provide for her financially until she can get a job. But if worse comes to worse, like if it's a super toxic situation, I don't think it would be the worst thing to break up with her and force her to go find, she said she doesn't have family to rely on. I wonder what the details of that are, if there really is somebody or a friend or anybody that she can sleep on their couch for a bit. But it doesn't sound like it's a toxic situation, since you said you guys both care about each other a lot. Sometimes you have to be a little bit selfish in breakups and worry less about ruining their life and more about moving on with your life. So if you're willing, since you have already been financially providing for her, I think it's a very responsible thing to understand that that comes with consequences, that you're still gonna have to keep paying for her while she gets herself on her feet, especially because she's somebody that you love and care about. You just don't want to continue a relationship with her. A year might be a bit of a stretch, but I'd say keep it up in the air. The time frame, like say, hey, I really hope that you get a job within 4 months. And then check back in, and if that doesn't happen, then you can continue from there. Hopefully she doesn't become a moocher and just like never find a job because she hopes that you'll just keep paying for her existence. That's where different methods will have to come into play. But yeah, I think you're on the right track. You're definitely allowed to break up with her. You don't need to worry about her life. Worry more about yourself. Well, let's see what the comments have to say. I think you need to tell her what you're feeling. You should also encourage her to get work or seek an education. Not communicating is going to breed resentment. You don't want to be stuck paying for her housing. She will never leave. She needs to start learning to take care of herself financially. See, this is where my mind was first going when I was mentioning how, have you brought up before that you have concerns about the relationship not being viable? Because in those conversations, you could kind of also be like, hey, you might want to start looking for a job, even though that'll kind of be anxiety inducing, where she's like, are you breaking up with me? Are you not? What's going on here? I wonder what the reasons are why your relationship's not working, and if her being financially dependent on you is causing resentment, and that's part of the reason why you don't want to be with her. Because you can bring up that you've been feeling that way and that you really want her to get a job, and maybe that'll even help salvage the relationship. Or if it doesn't, then when she gets the job, then you can end things with her. If she got a job and helped out financially, would you feel better about the relationship? Tell her how you feel and give her a time frame to get a job. If nothing else, it will help her to support herself if you leave. Not sure if you have any obligations to her under common law marriage, depending on where you live, so check into that before giving her your house. I don't know anything about common law marriage. That's definitely something that I need to research and learn more about. Only 8 states recognize common law marriage. This is assuming that they're even in America. So apparently a common law marriage is when you've been living together and acting like you're married, but you're just not legally married. And so the court can decide that you are in a common law marriage in terms of breaking up, especially if you have like a house together or anything. But there's no set amount of years to qualify for a common law marriage, that it's up to a case-to-case basis. That's weird. That's weird. I'm glad only 8 states have that, because that's a little bit strange. But it does make sense to protect people in situations like hers. Like if they've come to an agreement that he's gonna pay for her, then when they break up, he kind of, in my opinion, still has that responsibility to help her get on her feet. Okay, next post. Me, 25 male, found out my 29 female is an escort service online. Basically a female pimp. I broke up, but I really need advice on how to deal with the situation. Me, 25 male, she, 29 female, have been dating for 4 months. Started as casual thing at first, but went in a relationship. She was looking for a boyfriend actually, but I wasn't sure at the beginning because she told me she used to be a stripper at early age. I think it's interesting that he didn't want to be with her because she used to be a stripper in the past, which is totally valid. You can choose not to be with anyone for any reason. I just think it's an interesting take that because of something she used to do, he's like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you now. But apparently that thought process was valid based off the title, because it goes a lot deeper than that. Wasn't just a previous thing. She insisted because she was so into me, and we started dating. Later noticed her serious drinking issue and lifestyle. Although to me, she was very loving and caring, and we fought a lot about this issue, and things got really better. This is written so confusingly. Just after that, found on her phone escorting type of messages, and she told me everything. That she is a madame. Madame? Madame. She's a madame. She's a madame. She runs it with another girl. She does sexting and arranges meetings for girls with clients, and she earns a percentage. I broke up with her in the moment, but she swore that she never done anything herself or cheated on me, and that she actually loves me a lot. I really can't share this with any of my friends, so here I am, ashamed to fall for someone like that. Betrayed, hurt, lost. I'm curious why he can't share it with his friends. That is like ultimate tea right there. That is some gold standard tea that you should definitely be sharing with your friends, because tea is the foundation of bonds and friendships. I'm just kidding, but I'm not. Like, tea is great. Why would you not want to share that? Anyway, I get it. It's interesting why he feels so much shame being with someone who is like this. Like, I kind of get it, but like, why? I'm curious what his deeper beliefs are about this lifestyle that brings so much shame. I wouldn't want to be with someone like this either, but I don't think I'd feel as deep of a level of shame as he does about it. P.S. Her being at hospital and calling me crying doesn't help at all. Why is she in the hospital? What's going on? Also, definitely, that's never a good look when you break up with someone and then they call you crying. Like, ugh, just no, move on. Like, take care of your own emotions. I broke up with you. I'm not here to console you or to have you beg me to come back into your life. Oh, and there's an edit. Edit on the title. She runs the site and does not work as one. I find that hard to believe. She used to be a stripper. She's a madame, a female pimp, and claims that she doesn't do any of the work herself. She just takes a percentage off the top, which that's something I never understood. That kind of reminds me of, am I allowed to talk about this person on YouTube without being like censored or something? Kind of reminds me of Andrew Tate and what he was doing. Like, I just never understood why people work for pimps, especially when it's like an online cam service sexting kind of thing. Why not just do it yourself instead of giving a percentage to somebody else? I mean, I don't know how that world works. I don't know how difficult that is. I have no interest in looking into that. But that's something I never understood. Like, take the 100% for yourself. Why are you going through someone else who's pimping you out? It's a little bit strange to me. But she already has been keeping this from you. Who's to say she's not also participating in the escort service herself? It's highly likely. And yeah, you're allowed to not be with someone for any reason. You can have any reason under the moon for you choosing not to pursue a relationship with someone. And this is still very new, 4 months, and she already has a drinking problem that you guys have been fighting about. It's fine, break up with her. Someone else won't have an issue with her being a madame. So I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that lifestyle in and of itself. It's just not something that I personally would like to be around. I feel like it's kind of a lower vibrational sort of lifestyle and scheme, yet there's nothing inherently wrong with it in and of itself, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you can do what you want to do. It's just not for me. I wouldn't want to be with someone like this, so I completely understand why he doesn't want to be with someone like this either. So advice on how to deal with the situation: stay broken up with her. Be like, you know, text her something, be like, I'm sorry that you're upset, but your lifestyle just doesn't align with my morals and beliefs and what I want in a partner, so I wish you all the best. But you need to take care of your own emotions now. Go cry to your friends, don't cry to me. I'm so sorry, we're not in a relationship anymore. And then block her if she keeps bothering you. And you know, you might feel bad about it, but sit with the emotion of feeling bad and tell yourself that it's okay. It's okay, you're allowed to cut her out of your life. That's usually what happens when you break up with someone, is you go into no contact. So you're totally in your right to do that. Let's see what the comments have to say. There's nothing wrong with what you did. She wasn't honest up front. If she had been you, likely would have never dated her. She broke her own heart. Nothing you did wrong. Keep it moving. Block her. And OP responds, exactly what I told her. Like, what you do with your own life is your business, but be honest and let me choose what I want to be part of, not to love a fake version of you. Exactly. It seems like she has shame about it herself too, even though there's 100% she can find a partner who's okay with her having this business. It's just not OP. And so if you carry this shame around and you hide these parts of yourself until you're later in the relationship, you're going to attract scenarios where you find yourself in relationships with people who will trigger you and trigger that part of you that feels like you won't be loved because of this. But if you're honest about it up front, you can weed out the people who aren't okay with that lifestyle from the beginning and attracted to your authentic self and is okay with that part of your life. She runs the site and does not work with one that you know of. And OP responds, true, I'll never know for sure. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, she was talking about sexting and all this. Like, I'm pretty sure she's also involved in that part of it. Just saying, just saying. I think the reason you're posting this is because you're looking for validation for your decision, which frankly, no one can give to you anyways, since only you know what's good for you. Exactly. So sometimes people post stuff on Reddit and I'm like, what's your intention here? What's your purpose? Like, are you just trying to connect with people and not feel so alone in your decision? OP responds, that is true, absolutely. At the end of the day, the decision is up to me. Just trying to get some fresh insights and thoughts. You don't need any fresh insights and thoughts. You know what kind of relationship you want. You don't want to be with a liar and you're not okay with this lifestyle. So move on, find somebody who does align with the lifestyle that you want to live. All right, next post. I, 28 male, told my fiance, 25 female, that our wedding won't be like her coworkers. Now she won't speak to me. What is this coworker's wedding like? So some background, I guess. I'm engaged to a wonderful woman and have been for 2 months now. We'll call her M. Em and I have been together for 4 years now, and I love her to death. She's pretty, funny, laid back, and just makes me happy when I'm around her. We both work decent jobs and make solid money. We own a home and have 2 wonderful dogs. Our life should be perfect. There's one problem, M's old coworker. Dun dun dun. This coworker, I believe 35, we'll call her L. Couldn't have chosen a different name, M and L, if these are fake names. Which I just realized, M is like the letter M and L is like the letter L. Yet, they are 2 full nicknamey names in and of himself. That is interesting. Anyway, so then I wonder if M, this just dawned on me, I don't know why that took me 10 seconds too long. I wonder if M His name starts with the letter M, and L's name starts with the letter L. Maybe that's why he chose these names, okay? We're figuring it out. L was one of M's closest friends at her first job she started several years ago. M was still a teenager, but would hang out a lot with L, would watch her house when L went on vacations, go out to lunch with her, etc. Now M is pansexual and has admitted she has feelings for L, but never even imagined acting on them. The age gap, and L is straight. No, I have feelings for you, but I never imagined acting on them. That's BS. That's BS. She's definitely fantasized about it, let me tell you what. Wait, how old is M? 25, so 25 and 35, okay. Another thing, when M was 17, L got married, and M absolutely loved the wedding. It had been a quaint backyard wedding with friends and family, and L and M's boss had even officiated. So this is where our problem starts. M really wants a wedding exactly like L's. She wants a tiny, cheap backyard shindig with food from Target, sparklers, and close friends. This, however, does not coincide with what my family wants. My parents are Catholic and expect us to be married in a church. I've never understood this mindset, maybe because I'm not like as close with my family as other people are, but like your wedding is for you and your partner. You two alone decide what you want. So like who gives a rat's ass what your parents want your wedding to look like? Like, no. This is your wedding, not your parents' wedding. Don't give a fuck what they want. They're very affluent and have a lot of guests expecting to come. Again, why are your parents' guests coming? This is your wedding. I get it, because he's saying they're affluent. I'm assuming they're gonna pay for the wedding, and then because they're paying for the wedding, then that means they get a say in the wedding. But just, I think that culture is so ridiculous. Have a lot of guests expecting to come, too many that would fit in her backyard or a park. I've explained this to M several times, but she just keeps telling me we don't have to invite them if we don't want to, and she is correct. She is correct about that. But he's explained it several times, they won't fit in our backyard. But you don't have to invite them. Okay. We've been going back and forth, but it came to a head last night when M showed me her wedding dress she had picked. It wasn't even from a wedding dress website. It was a cheap dress with a white long sleeve top and a light blue skirt. I immediately shut her down, telling her that her dress needed to be an actual wedding dress. She was confused, and I explained, again, that her wedding was not just a backyard barbecue, but something we'd want to remember for the rest of our lives. You can't remember a backyard barbecue for the rest of your lives? I'm curious if it is OP that really wants to have this extravagant wedding for himself, like that's his genuine desire, or if it's just his parents planting, his mom especially planting those seeds in his brain. And that's why he's so gung-ho on, we need to have it be this way. M got snippy and reminded me that L's wedding had been a backyard barbecue, but it was memorable to those who attended. At this point, I blew up and told her that our wedding wasn't L's, that her dress couldn't be from a department store, that it was going to be in a Catholic church, and that she needed to understand that. I hate how he's communicating this. Like, y'all definitely need to communicate and get on the same page of like compromise and how like why these things are important to you and how to make what's important to both of you coincide. But you're just telling her, this is the way it's going to be, and you need to shut up about it. Especially, I think it's interesting because I feel like typically the woman in a heterosexual marriage, it's usually the woman that plans most of the wedding, which I don't think is necessarily the right way to do things, but it's just like men usually don't care as much, and the woman's like been fantasizing about it since she was a kid. I think it's interesting that the roles are reversed and the man is like, no, this is how my wedding is gonna go, which is totally valid. The man can be the one that plans most of the wedding if that's what he desires, and if the woman is like laid back and doesn't care. But it sounds like they both care a lot about the vision going the way they want to. She argued back that she just wanted a wedding that she would enjoy too. I then did something stupid. I accused her of wanting the wedding to be like Elle's because she was still in love with her. What? She got quiet and then left the room. She hasn't spoken to me since. I'm aware that they're friends on Facebook. They don't really talk anymore. I'm not even sure M was going to invite Elle to the wedding with how small she wanted it. So why are you comparing her to her coworker this whole time? It's not like she's trying to like perfectly match up everything to align with Elle's wedding. She just liked the vibe of it and was like, I also want a small backyard wedding, save money, just have intimate people that I'm close with there. I told my friend and she recommended this forum to see if I'm in the wrong. So what do I do now? I love how your friend knew you were in the wrong. So they're like, hey, let's put you on blast to all of Reddit so everyone can show you how stupid you are and how you need to work on your communication and stop demanding that M have the wedding that you desire. So here's what you do. You apologize, first and foremost, a genuine apology. 2, you discuss why each different style of wedding is so important to you and really get to the root of it. And here's the important part. You gotta open your mind and listen to your fiance and what matters to her, because it sounds like you only care about what you care about and what your family desires and you do not care about what M desires or why. And you really break down like what's truly genuinely important. What's the purpose of this wedding? It's to celebrate your guys' marriage and your guys' love and you guys coming together in union. And so in the deep heart of your heart, what is the best way to actually celebrate that? What really matters to you? And let's see if you guys can find a compromise. It sounds like she wants to save money, which on the other hand might not be an issue since you said your parents are affluent. But again, oftentimes when the parents are the one paying for the wedding, that means that they get to have the say of what's going on. So it sounds like she wants to keep it cheap so that she can have the say. And it's your guys' relationship. It's not your parents' relationship. So I think what you two as a couple desire matters more. And you being the sole people to pay for it will give you guys that opportunity to have it be exactly the way that you guys want. And so if that ends up being a cheap backyard wedding, then that's awesome. I'm not saying that her way has to be the right way and your way can't be, but it seems like the reasons why you want the wedding to be that way is rooted in not the love that you have for each other, but rather the desire you have to appease your parents. But let's see what the comments have to say. Oof, you realize that everything you wrote points to you being unwilling to compromise because your religion and parents, neither of which have a claim on your bride's conscience, told you it has to be that way. And then you accused her of insisting on what she wants out of infidelity. I'm not sure how many ways there are to say to a partner, I don't like your style and I don't trust your emotions, but you seem determined to explore them all. Marriage is about 90% compromise. 90%, that's an interesting percentage they chose, but I agree, marriage, a huge part of a relationship is being able to compromise with each other. So if you can't even compromise on the wedding, it's a giant red flag there, sir. A thing you seem unwilling to do. I'd say pause the marriage, but I suspect if we wait 20 minutes or so, Em will do it for you. Get in therapy and realize that loving a person is 0% telling them how they're going to live their life and 100% valuing them for the way they do. And how does a Catholic get to this point in the relationship without discussing the marriage's religious commitments? Did you guys just kick that can down the road this far? Of course you're in the wrong. You're the asshole. It's a big red flag that you went from, this is what my fiance wants, but this is what my family wants. Who the fuck cares about what your family wants? What kind of wedding do you want? If you don't mind having a backyard wedding, then believe it or not, you can stand up to your parents and tell them that you two do want something else. If you personally want a larger wedding, then that's different. You accusing her of still being in love with her and getting mad at her. It's clear you two are not on the same page. If you continue to prioritize your family's wants over the wants of your future wife, then I don't think you're ever going to make it down the aisle. If I was your fiance, I'd see this as alarming and really question if I want to put up with fighting against both you and your family for the rest of my life. Yeah, when you're in a marriage, I feel like that's your new family. Your spouse is now your number one person in your life. And the rest of your family, while still very important, and you should still definitely consider them and their needs and everything, don't even come close to the needs of your spouse. Like that's your number one person. So that's a huge red flag for me, like especially dating someone who's a mama's boy. I cannot stand that. Like if you're gonna put your mom above me, you can go marry your mom, okay? Go have fun with that, Oedipus. All right, next post. How can I, 28 female, tell a person, 30 male, I live with that I have a new boyfriend? So this person that you live with, is this your ex? It's not just the person I live with. How do I tell my ex-boyfriend that I live with? Okay, let's find out if that's what's going on. In February, I separated from my partner, 30 male, with whom I'd been a couple for 11 years. Wow. We bought a house together just over 2 years ago, and we're both still living here. February, so it's been 7 months since y'all split up and you're still living together. Do you have a plan to move out? What's the plan here? Are you just gonna be cohabitating for the rest of your life? We want to put the house up for sale, but with the current market, it's going to take several months. They think that the market's gonna change in several months because they're not waiting for the house to be sold. They're waiting to put it on sale. I think it's gonna take more than several months for the market to change, just saying. We get on well and take care of each other. There's no resentment, just sadness between us. I started dating another man a month ago. I figure it would be the right thing to do to inform my ex that I'm with someone else. Ooh. I won't have to worry about going out during the week without him wondering where I am, and I don't want to keep it from him for too long. But I don't want to cause him any more pain than he's already having. My family advises me not to tell him because it will start to create tension between us in the house, and the situation will get worse from then on. What do you think? Should I tell him? If so, how? So you started dating someone a month ago? I think I would wait until it's more serious, because you don't know if this guy that you're dating, if it's actually gonna turn into anything. And as long as you're not inviting him over to your place, I personally wouldn't bring it up. I would just expedite you getting the fuck out of there. Like, I know y'all have a house together, but I don't know how many bedrooms this house has, but can one of you stay there and get a roommate to cover lost expense and the other one of you move out? I know y'all own the house together, and so that'll make it complicated to have a roommate paying for rent, and that'll still be covering the mortgage. It's complicated, but I think it's doable. Because really, it's never a great situation to keep living with your ex. Like, I know it's comfortable and it's familiar, you were with them for 11 years, you still have love and care for this person, but you said there's sadness there. You don't want to be living somewhere where there's sadness, and it's hard to move on when you're still living with your ex. Like, this new situation that you've been in doesn't have the healthiest foundation. I'm not saying it can't work. It doesn't have the healthiest foundation where you're at right now. So I would prioritize moving the fuck out. And if you're waiting to put the house on the market until the market's better, that's gonna take a long time, chica, most likely. And you can never predict what's gonna happen. It might be quick, but we don't know. The market could stabilize for a long time or get worse or what have you. So if you guys aren't willing to compromise it and one of you gets a roommate and the other one moves out, then I feel like you're gonna have to take a loss on the house. Like, that's kind of the gamble that you play when you buy a house sometimes. It doesn't always have to be a financial investment. It could just be a living arrangement. And sometimes, like, when you're paying rent, you're just throwing money out the door. So you can kind of think of this housing situation, whatever money you end up losing could be like that. But ideally, I personally think the roommate situation makes a lot of sense. Now, if it's a 1-bedroom house, which is very rare but happens, that makes things more complicated. But all in all, I wouldn't tell him that you're dating someone until you're actually like serious with somebody new. And he doesn't have to know what you're doing. You could be hanging out with friends every night of the week for all he cares. I wouldn't bring it up until it's necessary, or until y'all have moved out, and then he can get a little peek on what's going on with your life and that you're dating someone new. But I just don't think it's necessary for him to know, honestly. It's just gonna make things more difficult. Then again, if you tell him, it might light the fire under his ass to be like, okay, I'm moving out. So let's see what the comments have to say. Starting to date while living with your ex is a dicey move in the first place. I suppose if you're worried that he'll find out from other friends, then you can get in front of this and let him know sooner than later. But you expect this news to land poorly and for this to make your living situation significantly more tense. I mean, hopefully you have good friends and you could tell them like, hey, don't bring this up to Mr. Ex-boyfriend. I don't know, if I'm the new guy and I found out you hadn't told your ex about me, I'd be annoyed, so there's that angle as well. If you are good friends now and this guy is going to coming around or spending the night, yes, you need to tell him. Yeah, don't have him come over. OP responds, no, he would never come to my house. I would never do that to my ex. It's more like I go out to his place, but I feel guilty about going out. You don't have to feel guilty. I don't know. If you wouldn't bring him to the house because it would hurt your ex, then why would you tell your ex? Also, general word of advice coming off an 11-year relationship, do not rush anything with the new guy. And that's what I'm worried about, is that he's a rebound. Only time will tell, but even more reason not to bring him up to the ex, because it's highly likely the relationship won't last, but who knows? All right, well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you want the tea on even more people's love lives, then you can watch another episode of the Libra Love Lounge right over here. But until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Bye.